So this is beginning of part 4 for module number 4 with it. So we're working on Figma right now with it. If you take a look at right now with it, working in this illustration section right here, we got everything above it working with it. So I'm going to adjust this, and you can see everything is adjusting except for this illustration right here. So I'm going to make sure you click on the illustration right here, and I'm going to come down here. You see where it says constraint, and you do a pull down, and I want to do scale, and let's see what this takes us right here. So I'm going to take this, bring it in. The first thing I want to point out is that the image has been distorted. All right, so a couple of things. If you notice, the image is distorted because you got some of the small graphics is also being distorted, and it's being squished in. That's when the image is being distorted. We want it proportionally stretch out properly. Everything's done with it as well. All right, so let's look at this right now with it. I want to put it back to 1443 right there with it, and we're going to click on it. Make sure you click on it. I have scale right now. So the first thing I need to do is you come up to the illustration, expand the illustration for me, and you could see the play button. There's what's called the dash, and there's an eye next to it. You can show it and display it with it. Have it kind of like pull down on there with it. But what I'm looking for are these buttons right here. All right. So let me zoom in a little bit more. If you hold down your control and you move your scroll in here with it, these are the buttons I'm talking about right here with it. All right, and so it's under your dash right here with it. So I'm going to just click on the dash right here. I'm going to click on that, which is the dashboard with it. That's the constraint with it as well. All right. So make sure you expand the code for me, and there's subcategory here. The group 3. If I click on it, make sure you have the group 3. This is the one that I'm working on. These 3 buttons: the maximize, the minimize, and the minimize with it. And you could hide it with it as well. These are the buttons that are being distorted with it. Make sure you have this group 3 selected for me. It's under your code. Okay, so group 3. Make sure you got that thing selected. So once you have the group 3 selected, I'm going to do top and left. All right, so that remains to the top and left with it. So the next part I need to select is the dash right here, the dashboard right here. And this is the problem, is that when it is selected on here, if you go to fill here and you click on the one that says image, and the problem is it has what's called crop, and that's what's distorting it with it, and that's it's because it's cropping it at the same time it's being response. So do a pull down on that and select fill for me instead. I'm going to leave this up here for a second, and you find that under image. It's under fill, image, and you change that to fill. Change this to fill for me, okay? And from crop with it. Now let me zoom out. Hold down my control, wheel, scroll out with it, and I'm going to click on the desktop, the whole thing with it. I'm going to resize this, and you can see how this thing resizes with it. All right, and I dropped it from 1443, the width 1443, down to 1249 with it, which is a comparable smaller than with it as well, right? So let me go back here for a second. I'm going to click on the desktop up here with it as well. And if you notice that if I resize this, there's still distortion here with it. What's being distorted? Well, there's this play button right here. It's not adjusting with the same size with it. And these buttons right here are just looks kind of weird the way how things are kind of being adjusted. Can you see that? And the buttons are moving or remaining fixed with it. And the bar, look. I'm going to resize this. You see how those 3 circles, they kind of stay fixed with it? Well, that's because we set the frame, it's relative with it. Let me go back here with it, the group 3 with it. And you see these dash, this vertical dash and the horizontal dash here with it. And that's because we set this frame right now, it's relative to the bigger canvas with it. All right. So that's the problem that we need to fix right now with it. So to fix this right here, I'm going to come up here. I want to select this whole entire group, the illustration. I'm going to right mouse click on it, and I'm going to go down. I'm going to select frame selection. Frame selection is what I'm going to select on here, this entire group. Now I want to expand this frame selection right here, which is frame number 2, expand it, and we need, now illustrations now becomes a subgroup of frame with it as well, right? I need to right mouse click on it, and I'm going to do ungroup them. Okay. Now, if I go back in, I'm going to find, here's the group 3, which is the buttons, all right? It's now relative, not to the canvas of this thing, but to the frame, all right? This is, group 3 is now, it's now a subgroup or a frame of this entire frame number 2 with it as well, all right? That's the difference that we need to make with it as well. So I'm going to go in here, let me rename this, frame 2, rename it. I'm going to call this illustration. Now, once I've done this, I'm going to come over here, click on illustration, which is this part over here. Instead of doing left, I'm going to do scale with it. One more thing we need to do is let's test this right now with it. So I'm going to click on the desktop on the upper left hand corner here, and I'm going to move it in. So everything is moving properly with it, but look at the play button. The play button doesn't look like it's resizing proportional with it as well. So let me put it back to 1443. And I want you to click on the play button with it. So find the play button that is inside of this right here. Here is the play button right here. All right. It's actually this one, the icon, this one right here. So this is the play button, the whole play button. And I need for you to select this to make this into, change that into center and center with it. So this way, it's going to resize it properly with it. And I think we're good to go after we do that. So let me click on the desktop one more time. Clicking that word desktop at the top or this right here, either one will work with it. So you could see how things are resized with it as well. Okay. Put this back 1443. So let me, before we finish up this particular part right here, I need for you to resize your canvas to size 1100 with it, 1100 with it. Take the screenshot of this right here for me. Again, I want to see the whole browser when you take a screenshot. So again, using your screenshot with it, you could take something like this and just grab the whole screenshot for me. I need to see the whole thing like this. Copy this thing with it and paste it over to your to the area I want you to paste this into as well. So copy this and paste it, Control C and Control V, paste it into there as well. So this concludes this particular part with it. The next two part I want to do is I want to resize this to a tablet size, and then we're going to see what the tablet size is like an iPad or an Android with it as well. Okay.